Have a question for me or next week's guru? Post it below. What's up, Paranormal Addicts? I'm Londa Graff, and welcome to the Beyond Natural. This week I'm bringing you highlights and evidence from Case 8 and an interview with Guru Sam on Reincarnation. Now, Case 8 was a little personal for the team, as the client was STPI's investigator Greg. The claims involved his son, who had seen an unknown man in his bedroom and bathroom during the night and early morning hours. Before we get into the highlights, I thought I'd take a moment to talk about the tools investigators use. Now, last week I mentioned the K2 meter, which is just one of the tools STPI uses. Other tools include video cameras, DVR recording systems, voice recorders, infrared thermometers, and thermal imaging cameras, among other things. Now, there are many more, and we have a detailed and growing list on our website. An investigation team is going to use these tools to assist in determining the prevalence of cold spots, shadows, EVPs, magnetic fields, and much more. Now, the tools serve as a way to help substantiate paranormal claims, providing hard data to back up those personal experiences on an investigation, and other things that may be giving the illusion of a haunt. The important thing to take away from this is that tools are not just toys for creating interaction with spirits, but another way to document what is occurring on an investigation. Now back to Case 8. Our first clip involves Sherry. Because this case involves something bothering a child at night, we wanted to try recreating that scenario. Sherry volunteered to climb into the child's bed and pretend to sleep for 30 minutes. Check it out.
She really fell asleep.
Dubbed alone time by STPI, this is a tactic we now use on investigations when clients are experiencing issues when they're in bed. While nothing bothered Sherry this time, spirits don't always respond on cue. Marker! And action. Now, our next clip involves two different investigation groups. First, we have Sherry and Chris in the child's bedroom, and then Mike and Destin in the same bedroom later on. Take a look.
What's his name? I don't know what his name is. Are you playing with that balloon? Should you do the thing over there?
So was you the one that knocked down the balloons a little bit ago, or they just deflate by themselves? Because they all came falling down at the same time.
Now, the strange thing about the balloons dropping is that they were brand new from the day before. As you saw in the clip, the further into the night, the more balloons dropped. Crazy part is that when the family returned home, the balloons were back up in the air and did not lose their helium until 2 days following the investigation. Now, we're not saying this is paranormal, but it's definitely abnormal. Now, our final clip involves Destin and Mike in the child's room. This time, they're trying to recreate a claim involving unknown entities playing with children's toys.
Which one of those buttons make it go to R&B or Caribbean
Make
pop?
the music play. Here, it's under the bed so you can play with it without it seeing you.
Yeah, better yet, put that in there too. We gotta turn that off before we leave, so you better play with it now.
Yeah, don't waste the battery.
With the lights off.
There you go.
Good job.
Is that you?
What is that what it does? Is it turn off automatically?
Do it again for us.
No.
Okay, that was pretty neat. Do it again for us. Let us. I don't know. Just do it again. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if it has one of those delay things on it, so if it's not being used.
It
Yeah.
reminds you to turn it off.
Hey, Randy.
Well,
it's
this is
just
the
a,
same tune.
it's a reminder thing.
As you can see, the toy became a tool of the moment, but as Destin and Mike figured out, the use of the object was fallible. The toy had an alert reminder, which made it hard to believe anything paranormal was interacting with it. Now, we're not saying that this was the client's experience, but it was ours. And FYI, STPI does not usually employ the use of toys on an investigation. Only in rare cases where toys are part of the claims does STPI use them to attempt interaction. And now, a guest guru of the week. This week's guest guru is Guru Sam. United Paranormal International's Africa Director and a thorough study on reincarnation and dream interpretation. Guru Sam is a supportive and helpful individual. He has assisted STPI on reincarnation and dream interpretation research in the past, and we want to give him a big welcome. Greetings, Guru Sam. How are you today?
Hi Landra, and thanks for the invitation. Here we've got a fine sky with a blend of sunshine, the type of weather that appeals for a good picnic at the beach.
Sounds wonderful. So our first question for you is, what is reincarnation?
The word reincarnation derived from Latin meaning becoming or entering the place again. It follows a process whereby the soul transmigrates or moves from one body to another, metempsychosis, leaving the dead body to enter that of a newborn baby. Have you ever met someone and felt you have seen him before?
Yeah, I have.
Even though he may be a tourist who have come to your country for the first time? He may be what Buddha calls a subject of one of your other lives, or as we call it now, past lives.
Definitely intriguing. I've always been interested in the subject of reincarnation, but how does reincarnation relate to the paranormal?
Establishing a relationship between the study of reincarnation and paranormal is rather obvious. The science of reincarnation corresponds to the broad framework of the supernatural, dealing with the soul and afterlife, both of significant interest to the paranormal scholars. Hence, reincarnation is not just related to the paranormal, but it is in itself a paranormal phenomenon. EVP detectors and sophisticated equipment are very important for paranormal investigation, but the thing is that these do the haunting or whatever paranormal activity from a macro perspective. That is, it focuses more on the environment around the victims rather than the victims themselves, while reincarnation advocates a micro-analysis, that is, it pinpoints the individual. For example, we try to know more about the victim's life, background, and psychology, and try to discern a correlation between the victim's profile and the paranormal activities going on. Despite not being compulsory, a notion of the science of reincarnation can enhance an investigation by helping decipher mysteries that go on in the victim's mind. Microanalysis. Such mysteries could be feeling of déjà vu, disturbing dreams, and affinities for certain epochs or regions. Take déjà vu, for example, the term coming from French meaning already seen or seen before. Déjà vu is sometimes considered as premonition or vision of future events, but while this is true, déjà vu could also be memories from past lives. For example, you go to a place for the first time, and there you see an old house that you have previously seen in a vision, and it may well be a house in which you had lived in a previous life. Now the microanalysis is not restricted to victims only, but also concerns paranormal investigators. Investigators, or somehow those who were acquainted with the supernatural in past lives. That's why they firmly believe in things that most people don't. They have carried their thirst and curiosity for the unknown to this life too. Also, they sometimes instinctively solve new cases as if they have always known the cause, and in theory, yes, in a distant past.
Interesting. So, in speaking more about the paranormal, are ghosts just really those who refuse to be reincarnated?
First, let's take into consideration what is a ghost. By definition, a ghost is a soul or spirit of a deceased person that chose to stay. However, the irony is that reincarnation follows the metempsychosis process whereby the soul leaves the body as soon as one expires to settle in that of a newborn, leaving no actual space for a mid-transition or pause for the soul to have the opportunity to wander as it goes. From here matters get complicated. We ask ourselves what is true, ghosts of the reincarnation theory, as a priori both don't seem to coexist.
No, they don't.
To brighten matters, let's first consider the law of karma, which is directly linked to reincarnation. According to Buddhism and Hinduism, the existence of mankind follows the samsara, or the wheel of life, which symbolizes birth, life, and death, as the wheel revolves back at death and comes to rebirth, reincarnation. And karma means action in Sanskrit. This law wants that every creature is subjected to samsara, but their next birth conditions will be based on their present condition. If you were fortunate but was inconsiderate towards others, you may be born as a beggar. On the other hand, Christianity rejects the theory of reincarnation. It believes that a person's soul has only one existence, and the end it either dwells in the bliss of heaven or perishes in the fire of hell. Certain philosophies view reincarnation as a matter of choice and not always based on the law of karma. Either you go to Nirvana or heaven, or you take birth again if you feel your soul must learn and grow, where the concept of old and young soul. So virtually there is no slot for eventual ghosts. But let's put those religious viewpoints aside for a moment. For extensive researches, I realized that spirits can choose to bypass immediate reincarnation if so they wish, especially those who die a tragic death and are exited to become a living being again. But I will also add that spirits are not just those who refuse to be reincarnated, but are also complex entities that we may easily mistake for something else.
I have to say the different viewpoints on this really fascinate me. Now my last question for you today is, can a person discover their past lives, and how can they do that?
Yes, through PLO, that is, past life regression. Past life regression, or PLO, refers to accessing or recovering past life memories while being hypnotized. Some people claim that this really helps knowing about one past incarnation, while others criticize this theory by advancing the hypothesis of the feasibility of delusion, hallucination, or a mixture of residuals from the subject's imagination based upon actual and present experiences. For example, a Westerner fan of Bollywood movies under hypnosis may claim to be from India. PLO has been closely linked to reincarnation theories associated with seekers of spiritual growth. In the Upanishads, or holy scriptures of Hindus, PLO is advocated by Patanjali as a way to liberate the soul by understanding the nature of one's previous karma, to be able to atone for one karmic debt, a variant of sin. So it devised certain practices through which one can be able to speak with the soul, a technique which later became known as hypnosis, which is a scientific way to bypass the conscious mind and access the subconscious mind. This theory is rather a spiritual or religious one, so let's consider a scientific perspective. While certain gurus or religious masters do hypnotize people with what are known as cosmic powers, which are considered as gifts from the gods, professional hypnotherapy makes use of elaborated clinical means. Some even use certain varying frequential beta and theta waves to plunge the subject in the lethargic state. Here the patient would want to be cured from a psychopathology rather than seeking spiritual growth. And often PLO is a lost result when the case is a drastic one. For example, an intelligent and sensible graduate who is afraid of water and refuses even to take a bath. And the hypnotist will learn that the guy is afraid of water because when he was free, his dog was drowned in a water tank. but as an adult he forgot about it, but the fear was stored in his subconscious mind. Now, while remaining on scientific ground, people who PLO, after several hypnosis sessions, begin speaking of countries which they never knew of, with accurate precision. Some, to the amazement of the therapist, began speaking in another language fluently, and an interpreter was needed. This I saw with my own eyes. So these sessions compel us to believe in the possibility of actual past life memories rather than mere tricks from the subject's ego.
Well, thanks, Guru Sam, for taking the time to talk with us today. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I would like to add that my ideas of reincarnation and past lives are based upon my own personal beliefs and extensive research linking both unexplained theories and concrete scientific facts, and that I am open to any sensible criticism or suggestions. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Guru Sam is a huge trooper, and we want to thank him for taking the time to interview for the show half a world away. I love the internet. Now, on to the evidence. This first clip is another one of those EVPs that makes you go, Sherry and Chris are conducting the EVP session. Let's listen to the clip from our video camera first.
Did you like to cook? That's my other hobby.
Notice there was nothing strange at all. Now let's click that clip again with audio on Sherry's digital voice recorder.
Did you like to cook? That's my other hobby.
Holy shnikes! A man's voice responding directly to Sherry's question with a little profanity prior. Now, of course, we can't show you all of the EVPs we caught, but here's another one for you. Remember Mike asking if someone brought the helium balloons to the ground? Well, he got a response.
So was you the one that knocked down the balloons a little bit ago, or they just deflate by themselves? Because they all came falling down at the same time.
We got it. You knocked him down, but who are you? Finally, same team, Destin and Mike, in the child's bedroom.
Or can you even hear us?
Now the voice still sounds male, but stronger. Seems he's maybe holding back a bit, almost if you need 20 questions or more to really strike up a conversation. Finally, another interesting part to our investigation was that the next day a light fixture over the dining room table fell down, crashing into the table. The screws were intact and there was a blood-like substance on the ceiling near where the fixture fell. The client had a city building inspector come and inspect the property to ensure safety. He found nothing resembling a leak in the attic and the structure was sound. The inspector said there was no reason for the fixture to fall whatsoever. Needless to say, the man left baffled. Now, our client immediately decided to have the house cleansed, and with the cleansing complete, they haven't experienced the problem since. Well, that wraps up this week's episode. Next week, we'll be talking with Paul, Bellwood Paranormal's spiritual advisor. Our topic, sensitives. I'll also be looking at Case 9, highlights and evidence. So until next week, keep it safe. Think you or someone you know is a guru and want to be interviewed for our show? Message us here on YouTube.
Thank you.